Good morning. It's a beautiful sunny day in the neighborhood, and I thought today I would share with you my palm collection. This is a Sago Palm that I planted quite a few years ago. The unusual thing about this palm is it's branched. It actually is like a Y shape, which is highly unusual for Sago palms. It's probably about 25 years old. Everything in my backyard is about that old because that's when I started planting. This is one of my windmill palms. I bought it as a double palm. I liked it, and this is about 25 years ago. Windmill palm. I already showed you my cocoa palm or pindo palm, but I didn't show you the whole thing. I also have a number of needle palms. This is a needle palm. I actually have my fountain going today. The reason why it's called a needle palm, it grows as far up into the Carolinas, and it's called a needle palm because the Indians used to harvest the thorns at the base. They're about 6 inches long, and use them as sewing needles. I've already shown you my Ladyfinger Palm in another video. This can get taller, but it got knocked back severely in a frost about 3 or 4 years ago. So I've moved it to this spot in the shade of my pindo palm, and it seems to like it there. Frost didn't nip it much this year, and maybe it'll get bigger. The little palm next to it, I don't know exactly what it is. I have a number of palms that reseed, or I should say seed, and I don't really know what they are until they get big enough to be identified. That's either a needle palm or a ladyfinger palm. If it's a needle palm, I have to be careful weeding around it because it'll have the needles at the base. More sago palms, smaller. And then I have a Phoenix canariensis, which is a date palm. It's about 20 feet tall. I planted it at about 6 feet. I didn't realize it was going to get this tall. Originally, I had 3 huge oak trees here, and I planted that between the oak trees. And I remember the fellow that sold it to me, I thought it was going to stay nice and fern-shaped, and he said, you know, that's going to be 40 feet tall at maturity. And I said, oh no, it's between my oak trees. I don't want it there. He said, well, don't worry, you won't live to see it get that tall. Well, haha, it's about 20 feet tall now. This clump or cluster is a Sonoran Palms. It used to be at the base of an oak tree, and when they cut the oak tree out, they pretty much pummeled it flat, and now it's huge. But to salvage it, what I've read about the Sonoran palms is they don't root well. They're hard to transplant because they don't, the roots won't regrow. They'll grow new roots from the base, but once the roots are severed, they won't regenerate. And so what I did is when they got pounded flat, I tried digging up 4. Here's 1. There's 2. And there's a 3rd, and there's a 4th on the other side of that one. I really was doing as an experiment. The roots under those go about 5 or 6 feet deep. They were huge roots to dig up. And they're shallow, but they're long. And in any event, they all seem to have caught. So I guess I've got the secret touch when it comes to those plants. These are very small. I really didn't want them here. And so last year I cut all the fronds off. They're supposed to be a palmetto. And so I thought, well, rather than dig them out or destroy them, I would just cut the palms off and the fronds off. And sure enough, they came back and they're small this year. Oh, I hear Baby, which is Mimi's wicked stepsister, coming to visit. Mimi and Baby get along sometimes. Mimi's in the house. She's not up yet. Okay, and the other palm, this is a smaller version of the Pindo palm. And then last but not least, in this corner is a Mediterranean fan palm. They normally grow in a clump. You have to kind of fight them to get them to be a single stalk like this. That's probably about only 10 years old. This is a smaller version of the same palm, the Mediterranean fan. It was tall, but got busted up when the big oak tree came out, and it hasn't really recovered. These were little suckers at the side of the growing tip. All palms they're related to grasses. They really only have one growing tip, so if you damage the growing tip, forget about it, as they say in New York. The palm will be gone, but the Mediterranean fan does send out a lot of little suckers. And that ends my palm collection. I'll go into my fruit collection another day. I'll leave you with my little